The Unrippable Robe. How a Mysterious Baby Unlocks the Cure to Modern Anxiety. Welcome to today's deep dive. In today's episode, we're digging into a thoroughly captivating Buddhist story shared by the Buddha Activity Association of Australia. We aren't just here to listen to a story, though we're going to explore how it perfectly bridges ancient wisdom with our modern, everyday lives. Are you ready to spark your curiosity? Excellent, let's dive right into the heart of it. First, imagine this incredibly surreal scene. A pair of parents have finally brought their newborn baby boy home from the temple. Full of joy, they get ready to change him out of his robes and into a cute set of regular, everyday clothes. But guess what? The moment the civilian clothes are put on him, they instantly transform back into a monastic robe. No matter how much the parents tug, pull, or try to swap them out, this magical robe stays glued to the baby's body, completely refusing to be removed. Isn't that wild? What kind of mysterious past is hidden within this little boy who so fiercely rejects the secular world? That is exactly the mystery we are going to unravel today. Following the insights shared by the association, we will fast-track our way through 5 key themes. The miracle of the patron son. Past vows from the era of Kassapa Buddha. The choice between Dharma and the secular world. How to face obstacles in daily life. Observing and subduing the deluded mind. The miracle of the patron's son. A story of a life rescued and a destiny fulfilled. In the ancient Indian city of Shravasti, a wealthy merchant couple made a bold decision to save the life of their newborn son. They entrusted the baby to the great Arhat, Venerable Aniruddha, who possessed immense spiritual powers. There is a crucial Buddhist concept here known as the field of merit. Think of it like a farmer choosing the most fertile soil to plant seeds. In Buddhism, the Buddha and the pure monastic community represent the ultimate field of merit, making offerings to them yields unimaginable fruits of positive karma. By placing their child in the hands of Venerable Aniruddha, the supreme field of merit, the parents successfully flipped the script on their child's tragic destiny. From there, the boy's growth trajectory went into absolute overdrive. Not only did he survive, but as we mentioned earlier, he couldn't stand wearing civilian clothes and clamored to return to the monastery. Once back, he rapidly mastered various analytical texts, instantly attained the stage of extreme Emperor Shodapana, took his formal vows, and ultimately eradicated all defilements to achieve arhatship. If that wasn't enough, he even turned around to guide and liberate his own parents, along with Ubai of his friends. Past vows from the era of Kassapa Buddha. The Buddha reveals the karmic roots behind this miracle. As it turns out, none of this was an accident. If we rewind the timeline back to the ancient era of Kassapa Buddha, this boy was originally preparing a feast for his Ubai friends. On his way, he unexpectedly crossed paths with Kassapa Buddha. He thought to himself, "My goodness, this is a rare and precious field of merit." Without a second thought, he offered all the food to the Buddha instead. Naturally, his friends were furious, so furious they even plotted to kill him. Terrified, he fled and became a monk. However, the most critical turning point happened on his deathbed, where he made a powerful, unshakable vow to attain arhatship in the future era of Shakyamuni Buddha. You see, it was that seemingly small yet fiercely resolute initial aspiration bodhicitta that directly scripted his miraculous life and path to enlightenment in this lifetime. The choice between Dharma and the secular world. A highly relatable, modern-day dilemma. Let's ask ourselves honestly, if you promised to take your friends out to dinner today, but suddenly stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for massive spiritual growth, would you flake on your friends? From a secular standpoint, that looks incredibly flaky and disloyal, right? But on the path of spiritual practice, this is actually the universe testing your priorities. Regarding this, the master from the Buddha Activity Association of Australia gave a very direct teaching. If you wish to attain the most supreme spiritual accomplishments, the Buddha and the Dharma must absolutely come first. This tests your initial intent. If pleasing your friends, maintaining appearances, or making money carry more weight in your heart than the Dharma, then the karmic fruits you receive will likely be utterly ordinary. Only by transcending these worldly attachments can you attain true freedom. This concept of prioritizing the Dharma is sometimes compared to secular law. People often ask, which is greater, the law of the land or the law of the Dharma? The master made a very clear distinction here. On a worldly level, if a monk breaks the law, they must face secular legal consequences and the physical karmic retribution. There is no escaping that. However, from the perspective of ultimate truth in Buddhism, and according to the teachings of the Ten Wheels Sutra, the status of the Dharma must never bow to secular power. This fully reflects the supreme, uncompromising stance that Buddhist worldview holds toward ultimate truth. 4. Facing obstacles in daily life. What to do when putting the Dharma first creates friction at home or in society. When it comes to handling these everyday frictions, the Master's advice is incredibly practical and compassionate. If your family resents you spending money on charity, don't force it. If you see a wildflower by the roadside and offer it with sincere devotion in your heart, the spiritual merit is exactly the same. If people mock you for practicing life release freeing captive animals, do it quietly and discreetly. Why? Because doing it with a grand show might cause unaware onlookers to create negative focal karma by mocking you. If you want to become a monk or nun, but your parents threaten self-harm to stop you, the master stated explicitly that you must not ordain. The Buddha strictly regulated that ordination requires parental consent. Ultimately, the core of spiritual practice is to benefit both oneself and others. It is never about forcing the people around you to suffer just so you can practice your faith. Observing and subduing the deluded mind. The true internal warfare. Once the external obstacles are managed, we finally have to face the toughest boss of all, our own inner world. The master reminds us that we must learn to observe our own delusions because our brains are master tricksters. They constantly throw temporary illusions of comfort our way, like chasing fleeting pleasure or protecting our ego, but behind these illusions lies a trap that drags us into endless cycles of samsara and suffering. Conversely, practicing the true Dharma might require some self-restraint at first, but it ultimately leads to eternal joy. Simply put, delusions are like thieves waiting to steal your peace. You have to recognize their true faces first. In this internal battle, one of the biggest villains is arrogance. There is a quote from the teaching that I absolutely love. The mountain of pride holds no water of virtue. What powerful imagery! Imagine a sharp, steep mountain peak. No matter how hard it rains, the water instantly rushes off and can never be retained. If our mindset is always high and mighty, always self-righteous, then no matter how wise the nectar of the Dharma is, it will never nourish our hearts, and that would be a true tragedy. So, what should a beginner actually do? The master provided 3 clear steps. Observe first, do not rush to suppress yourself. Just quietly watch your brain and notice what strange commands it throws at you daily. Analyze calmly, ask yourself, is this impulse just giving me a temporary rush? Or will it bring long-term peace? Acknowledge our current illness, recognize that our current perceptions are distorted, and use the Dharma as a specialized medicine to patiently dismantle those deeply ingrained bad habits. Step by step. The final thought. Before we wrap up today's analysis, I want to leave you with a profound analogy to ponder. If you wanted to raise your right hand today, but your hand completely ignored you and started flailing around uncontrollably, you would be terrified. You would immediately think, oh my goodness, my hand is sick. I need to see a doctor, right? Yet, when you command your brain to focus for just 5 minutes, and it runs wild all over the place, completely out of control, why do we think that that's totally normal? Why don't we realize that our mind is actually sick? That is a truly soul-searching question. All change begins with observing this restless mind of ours. I hope today's insights from the Buddha Activity Association of Australia bring some fresh inspiration to your life. Carry this awareness with you, and I will see you next time.